The hardest hits, the biggest plays, the smartest fantasy moves. Fan-voted tournaments. All football, all the time.
Let's hop into this week's top 10 waiver wire ads for week 3. At number 10, Kayshon Boutte. Kayshon has had 9 targets through 2 games. On those 9 targets, he has 119 yards and a touchdown. Drake May is growing, and the quarterback-wide receiver bond is growing. So Kayshon is a bench stash with flex upside going into a Week 3 matchup against Pittsburgh and the horrible Carolina Panthers on the horizon. At number 9, we have Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith has quietly cut out a role in this Steelers offense. He has just 10 targets through 2 games, but he has hauled in 9 out of those 10. Jonnu has only 42 yards this year, but has a touchdown on an end-around jet sweep against the Jets week 1. I think he is more of a red zone threat than anything, though he has acquired 19.2 fantasy points through 2 games and has a friendly 2-game stretch coming up. Lastly, Aaron Rodgers loves his tight ends, so Jonnu is worth a stash if not a starter, depending on your tight end situation. At number 8, Blake Corum. Blake Corum showed us a little bit of what he can do this past Sunday. He rushed for 44 yards on only 5 attempts and got into the end zone for a touchdown. He is used as a change of pace back, not really used in the passing game, but showed more burst running the ball than fellow back Kyren Williams. I think the Rams will keep using him because he has serious skill with the ball in his hands. Kyren is still RB2 material, but Corum could very easily sneak into flex consideration sometime this season. The Rams have a tough 4-game stretch coming up, but Blake is still worthy of a bench stash. Number 7, Jake Tonges. Jake Tonges is a steady sleeper still who got unlucky Sunday when Mac Jones targeted Luke Farrell on a red zone touchdown pass. But Jake was still targeted 5 times, got 4 of those 5 targets for 31 yards. He had 3 targets last week for 3 catches and a touchdown. His role will grow just a little with Mac Jones as he likes looking for passes within 15 yards. I have him 7th on this list because he has 2 very favorable matchups coming up against the Arizona Cardinals and Jacksonville Jaguars. Once George Kittle gets back, his role will disintegrate, but for now, he's a good option if you're short at the tight end position. At number 6, Dyami Brown. I consider Dyami Brown the number 2 wide receiver in Jacksonville right now. Travis Hunter won't run a route longer than 10 yards, and there is some frustration between Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence. Brown had an excellent game, posting 5 catches for 57 yards and touchdown on 7 targets. The game was ugly on both sides, but Brown is slowly carving out a role for himself in Jacksonville. 11 targets over 2 games that add up for 8 catches and over 100 yards and a touchdown is worthy enough for a bench spot or even a flex in 12-team or more leagues. To start my top 5, I have Marvin Mims Jr. Marvin Mims Jr. is tricky because he is owned in 30-ish% of leagues. He is off to a slow start, but this weekend he found his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Mims' stats don't fly off the page with only 6 targets so far this season and only 36 yards, but this offense is so dynamic in Denver that getting Mims into the end zone shouldn't be that hard. Yes, he has Courtland Sutton and Evan Ingram, but Ingram doesn't have much, and we had to see this offense adapt to Courtland Sutton being shut down. Mims still holds value, and his ceiling is at least wide receiver 3 in deep leagues and a flex option at minimum. I'd pick him and stash him because he is valuable. At number 4, which might be a surprise, Dontavian Wicks. Dontavian Wicks is at 4 because Jaden Reed's injury. Yes, Tucker Kraft is the main pass catcher, but I also think that was the game plan Thursday night. Wicks had 4 catches on 6 targets for 44 yards on Thursday, with another 2 catches on 2 targets for 30 yards in week 1. Now, I think his upside is wide receiver 3 in deep leagues and a flex play in 10 to 12 team leagues. The Packers are playing unbelievable right now, and they don't have a wide receiver 1, and Wicks is healthy and reliable. 6 catches on 8 targets is consistent and will continue to grow, especially with Reed sidelined. I don't think the Packers will slow down anytime soon, so I believe he is a sneaky sleeper, so get in on him now before it's too late. At number 3, I got Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow isn't a popular pick to add because consistency, I guess? I've been hearing other analysts or so-called experts talk and say that it's not sustainable, and yes, obviously 23.8 fantasy points isn't sustainable for Renfrow. 9 catches on 15 targets for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns is wary. But the Carolina Panthers are going to be playing from behind in almost every game this year, so they will have to pass. And not only that, but defenses will catch on to McMillan, and Leggett hasn't been a threat so far. Renfrow can be a sneaky flex, especially with bye weeks starting in the next 3 weeks. At number 2 might be another surprise, Torrey Holton. Torrey Holton is another sneaky, deep sleeper, in my opinion. Yes, he only has 2 catches on 4 targets, yes, for only 32 yards, but he got a touchdown this past Sunday against the Steelers, who have the most expensive defense in the NFL this year. But he showed incredible signs of making a role for himself. I think Cooper Kupp's time is coming to an end, and when it does, Torrey Holton will have his role cut out. This kid is a stud and kind of a mirror image of Tyler Lockett. The Seahawks need a wide receiver too, and Holton could be that guy. And at number 1 this week is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is on an absolute tear right now in fantasy. With 3 rushing touchdowns in 2 weeks to 588 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, he is playing consistent football with no turnovers and playing balanced football. He made a couple questionable throws, but for the most part, he is killing it. It is only 2 weeks into the season, but with Joe Burrow and Justin Fields out, he can easily be slotted into Superflex or 12-team leagues. He has an easy schedule through the next 4 weeks, including week 5 and 6, which are when bye weeks start. Grab him this week because he may not be there in the next waiver window.